Everybody tuning in as we get this dialed in this morning. Let's see if we can get it on YouTube as well.
Let's see. I'll see if we're live yet. I have my thing open here.
Okay. That sounds horrible. You have your thing open
Yeah.
Wow.
Not that kind of show. Sorry. All right.
Yeah. That's the other show.
That's the other show we do. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. Oh, let me see. 25 seconds ago. Let's see here. Yes, we are live. Although you spelled Tibetan a little bit wrong, but that's
Tibetan?
Tibet.
A-N.
Ian. We could fix that later. Hi, Linda.
All right, so here we go. Everybody take a deep breath. And how do we spell?
Oh.
All right, so hang on. Everybody be quiet for 1 second. Here we go. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time once again for Health Talks with Dr. Trin. The one show, maybe the only show, that shows you the path to a healthier life. Maybe a little enlightenment along the way today. The man who's always carrying a candle in the dark, Dr. Trin. Welcome, sir.
Carrying a candle in the dark?
Yeah, I just thought, we're trying to be a little philosophical here today.
Very philosophical today. Very awesome. Yeah, we have some special friends here today.
You sure do. This is a rare privilege for me, so why don't you introduce them?
Yes, Tenzin and Sonam are good friends of ours. They are from New York, right?
Yes.
Yes. What is the name of the monastery that you're at in New York?
It's Namgyal Monastery Institute of Buddhist Studies. It's a branch of Namgyal Monastery in India, personal monastery of His Holiness Dalai Lama.
Dalai Lama Monastery, a branch of that.
Yes.
Yes. Have you guys both met the Dalai Lama?
Of course, yes.
Of course.
Many times. Yeah.
Yes.
They're old friends of the Dalai Lama here today.
Yeah, you guys are like friends.
We're going to speed dial him today. We're going to call him up today and get him on the phone here.
Yeah, just speed dial. Yes, this is a delight to have you on.
Well, I want to ask a million questions if you'll indulge me today here. So tell me, you're Tibetan monks. Are there different kinds of Buddhist monks? Or are they all, to me, they're all just Buddhist monks? Are there different branches, different philosophies? Explain, if so, explain the group that you're affiliated with.
Oh yes, Tibetan Buddhist. In Tibet, we are I think over maybe 5,000 or 10,000 different monasteries.
Wow!
But there are three largest monasteries. This is the philosophy institute, like kind of learning center. We call Debong Monastery, Gandhi Monastery, and Sera Monastery. These three monasteries are the most largest monastery. And for example, like in Debong Monastery, there are more than 7,000 monks.
Wow.
And Sera also like 5,000, Gandhian Monastery like more than 5,000 monks who really seriously study Buddhist philosophy. And also there are many other monasteries, they have their own ritual practices, and top of that also they study philosophy. So our monastery is we call Namgyal Monastery, which is the personal monastery of His Holiness Dalai Lama. So monks the Namgyal monks served to His Holiness Dalai Lama through like ritual assistant or politically or religiously. We serve His Holiness Dalai Lama, all those, like since second Dalai Lama till today. So yeah, there are many monasteries and many monks, but mainly our basic studies, main subjects are almost the same.
So I'm a Catholic, and I'm trying to relate it to something I understand. So in the Catholic religion, there are different orders of monks or priests or abbots or whatever, different things. So there'd be Franciscan priests, there'd be Jesuit priests. It's sort of the same thing. You all adhere, you all follow the same religion, philosophy, but there's different groups within that, or are they like Protestants, totally different groups? Baptists are different than Lutherans or Methodists or whatever.
Yeah, it's not totally different, but little bit different philosophicals, but the main subject are the same, the teachings of Lord Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
But there are many different schools in our Tibetan Buddhism.
Different paths to the same enlightenment.
The path is same.
Right.
The destination, what we call, is the same.
Okay.
But there's some different way how to reach there.
So explain to me in layman's terms, what is Buddhism? Sometimes I think of it as a religion, but sometimes people correct me and say, well, it's really more of a philosophy. It's more of a way of living.
Yeah.
Can you be Buddhist and be Christian? Can you be Buddhist and be Muslim? Can you be Buddhist and be a non-believer?
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, of course. In Buddhism, what we call the Buddhist means in Buddhist there are in teachings there are Buddhist philosophical and Buddhist, or what we call the mind of science, what it teaches in Buddhist psychology. It's almost same like the scientific reason. The most of the 100% of the Buddhist teaching is based on the reasoning and analysis. So it's most like a science to use your intelligence, not only by faith.
Yeah, according to your question, I think in people's our faith or background and or culture background, whatever. So in Buddhism, there is no kind of restriction that you can only join, you can only be Buddhist. No, you cannot be Christian, Muslim. We don't have any kind of restrictions there.
Right.
It is more like our choice. If you feel, or if you feel comfortable, or if you see more suitable with your mind, like Christianity or Muslim, people can practice Buddhist or Christianity or Muslim. It's up to us. We don't have that kind of seriously restrictions there.
So there can be people who follow the practice of Buddhism because they want to, they see it as a path to a healthier life, or a happier life. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't have different views of God or what happens after you die. Because Buddhists have again, you can explain it to me in better terms, but my understanding is that Buddhism believes in reincarnation. That the talk about that, I don't think we really understand. That's not something we can wrap our head around here in the West.
Yeah, of course. In Buddhist, we, as His Holiness always mentioned, that every religion, the best, the fundamental is really same. Love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, all these fundamental, practices are the really same. But when we philosophical like view, it's a little bit different. So Buddhists, we believe that there is incarnation. Of course, we don't accept there is creator. So as Buddha, he's just like an ordinary being and practice and study meditation. Then he finally he achieved fully enlightenment. So then
And full enlightenment does what? It frees you from the cycle of reincarnation.
he
Pain,
fully free from suffering or all those delusions, all those negativities. So that we call fully enlightenment. So Buddhists, we believe that there's no beginning, there's, of course, there's the end. So we accept first life and next life. So that's why there is, continuation. So that's why we have incarnations, So Buddhists, some Lama, great masters, when they pass away, so then they're reborn, new, new oracle, newborn, or since their childhood, they remember the previous life.
And that's amazing to me. I've seen the movie, I can't remember the name of it now, but Richard Gere, I think, put it together because he's a practicing Buddhist, about how you follow a teacher known as the Dalai Lama. And the Dalai Lama, I don't know what number he is, but it goes back a long time, because when he leaves this earth, when he passes away, you believe a new Dalai Lama is reincarnated, and then the quest begins to find the child who is the new reincarnated Dalai Lama, right?
Oh, yes. So that's in Tibetan, in Buddhist, we have special traditions there. So once 13 Dalai Lama pass away, so after that, then we, recognize 14 Dalai Lama. His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. So they have the Tibetan government. They make more like a research team. So there's some lamas and
literally a research team to go find. Once he dies, he's reborn somewhere, and we've got to find where he is.
Yeah, of course. After maybe for 3 or 4 or 5 years within that, so they make a kind of research group, and those they go to certain place in His Holiness Dalai Lama's case, we have very secret lake in Tibet we call Hamul Hamso. So that research group went to that secret lake, and that secret lake shows three letters, A, Ka, Ma, 3 letters. So then those researchers and then Salamas, they clearly see the letters, the 3 letters tell them clearly picture, clearly a location. A means Amdo is where His Holiness
where the new Dalai Lama has reincarnated and been born.
Reincarnated, yes.
Fascinating. So very, very different than any religious traditions in the West or even in the Middle East that I'm aware of.
I just want to know. Yeah, I just want to know what the food tastes like in Buddhism.
Well, and let's go to that. So in Buddhist lifestyle, are there restrictions?
You still eat a medium rare steak?
Yeah. Or I mean, are there dietary restrictions in Judaism, in a traditional conservative Jewish faith? You have to follow kosher laws. In other traditions, Mormons can't drink or smoke or certain other things. There are Catholics, we were supposed to eat fish on Fridays or something. Are there restrictions? Are there dietary restrictions in the Buddhist lifestyle?
So Nam, what do you think?
Yeah, see, like dietary restriction, like alcohol, smoking, and other things are not allowed. As a monk, not a Buddhist, as a monk. As a
Ah,
Buddhist monk,
okay. So
we have vows.
as an Irish
We have
Catholic, I can still have a drink once in a while here. Then once, yeah.
as to be a monk, we have to take a vows. So like toxic, sort of toxic, we are not allowed. But regarding on food, as in Tibet, like Tibet is very high. I mean, what called the high in the high mountains and like that.
Altitude.
In early age, high altitude. In early age, like for the monk, or whatever the sponsors, the household, they offer for the monks. So we have to accept that for what any kind of food. So we don't have to, I mean, what you call that, order to make uncomfortable for the household that we want that. We are not allowed to do that. Whatever the household will give, offer you.
So you
we
can
to
have
accept
hot
for that.
chili, or you can have pizza,
Yeah.
or ice
Yeah.
cream, or whatever
So
American food you want to
So
Yeah.
origin here.
you eat whatever your guests eat, right? If they invite you.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh,
So those
yeah.
owners, whatever they're offering to you, you have to accept. So
Really? Even if it's
that-
like medium rare steak and
yeah, because during Buddhist time,
yeah.
so those monks
time,
go
yeah.
for the begging. So whatever they're offering, good food or bad food, you have to accept. You
Good
cannot
food or bad food. You
reject.
can't say, no, I'm not eating that. That looks terrible. I'm not
Well,
eating that.
Colin used to own a bar.
Yes.
So I invite them over.
Invite them over. We'll give them some Irish whiskey, and they, no, they can't have alcohol.
So that's more like debate. It's endless.
All right, so today what we really are hoping that you'll teach us, see if there's some wisdom in Buddhism for living a healthier, happier life. Does it clearly, every Buddhist I've seen on television and meeting you today, you all seem so content. You seem so calm. How do you
Peaceful.
stay content and calm in this crazy world?
They don't eat American food.
Well, that must be it. They don't eat junk food, so they're not all hyped up on sugar here, right? But seriously, how, I mean, clearly you work very diligently. My understanding of Buddhism, as limited as it is that you spend a great deal trying to stay calm and peaceful and not to react as we all do. We live in a country filled with road rage, filled with political rage, filled with tribal rage. We're angry all the time at everybody. What lessons can we learn from the Buddhist way?
Still, like in Buddhist, as I said before, that we have the Buddhist philosophical and Buddhist mind psychology.
Okay.
So like Buddhist science, what we call the Buddhist science. So in Buddhist science, it teaches mostly on inner value.
Inner values. Okay, that's what you're focused on the
love,
on the teaching side,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
teaching side, inner value, love, compassion, trust, and what is the negative emotion like anger, what is negativities of those things, negative emotions. So that part, like, and everybody can learn, whether it's a believer, whether it's a non-believer, we can learn from that, because those subjects are like what you call the universal. Everyone can accept that.
Right.
Yes.
There isn't anybody that
through
doesn't strive for peace, for contentment, for calm. I guess what I'm trying to understand is, how do you find it where we can't?
See, like in this modern world, most of the people, happiness is something oriented with a what you call materialistic.
Right.
We
Materialism.
depend on happiness on those things.
Yeah.
But that's what we call the physical comfort, actually.
Right.
It will be limited, not for lasting. So
Right.
if you want really the real happiness and lasting, you have to give more interest on our mental
But like
mental
Catholic
things.
monks or any other sorts of monks and other traditions, you've chosen to reject the worldly things, to live in, I assume,
We
about
see,
celibacy and poverty and other sorts of things, to focus on the inner and not the external. I applaud you, because that's very hard in today's world.
no. We are not rejecting the materialistic.
Hmm.
Materialistic we want, of course,
Yeah.
for the physical comfort and relaxed life. But we need to balance with the physicals, materialistic and the inner value. If you have good wealth and if you're very rich, but if you're inside, if you're unhappy,
Hmm.
then what is the use
What's
of your
the point?
life? What's
Yeah.
the point? There's no way.
So how do you find inner happiness? Is it a constant reevaluation? Do I need a spiritual guide to show me where I'm failing or falling short? Do I need to have my eyes opened somehow? How I always hear about the path to enlightenment, the path to, aha, I got it, I see it, I understand it now. How do I get on that path? Is it a daily practice, a ritual practice, a learning practice? Walk me through the practice of enlightenment.
So I think, in our day-to-day life, so we all working for ourselves.
Right.
Everybody wanted to do something good for themselves, their family, their relatives. So from since we, teenager, we just started to work hard for comfort, or work hard for the good living, use ourselves or family or relatives. But still we facing problems, facing miserables. So
Money doesn't
actually
make it go away, though. We always think it makes it easier. Yeah, right.
yeah,
Exactly.
so we trying to do the best thing for in our life, but we rarely we encounter all good things happen in our life.
Hmm.
So I think there's a great Indian master said that whatever joys or happiness in the world, that desiring other people's happy. So whatever in miserable or suffering or depression, all those negative things, that we desiring ourselves to be happy. So if we think more about other people's well-being and happiness, peace of mind,
Mm-hmm.
so that brings your automatically brings your happy yourself, a more peaceful mind and calm. So I think that is more like uh, even you use your philosophical thing or psychologically. That is the, I think, really a meaningful reason is there.
But
You
So
it's
know,
it's not so like so the intent is like not necessarily to keep desiring for more materialism, because we know that materialism does not fulfill us in the end, right? So it's a process of finding contentment in here
Yeah, that's
inside,
correct.
yes,
as
If
opposed
you
to
yeah.
seeking for contentment outside.
Mhm.
It's kind of like, in the scriptures, the Bible says, do not covet.
right.
Covet your neighbor's materials, covet your neighbor's
Mhm.
cars, covet your neighbor's better looking house, and things of that sort. And
You mean that desire to other people's house or material thing? You mean?
Right, right. You're always looking, gee,
yeah,
I'm envious. I want that, what they have. Maybe I'll
exactly.
steal
Yeah.
it. Maybe I'll be
Mhm.
just like them. Maybe I'll be better than them. We're always comparing
Oh yeah,
ourselves to others and looking
yeah.
at that. But that's a human condition that seems to only increase in our society. I don't want to bash America. I believe in America. I love America, but the weakness, as points out all the time, we are consumed with self. My self freedom, my self identity, my
Yeah.
me. We can get wrapped up in that. We don't we don't balance it often enough with a greater good, a greater quest. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes we do, but we are
Yeah,
very
that's what,
individualistic as people, so it's all about us.
yeah, that's why, you know, we say in the contentment. If you don't content what you have, then even you have become billionaire, you're still wanting more and more. So that it goes like endless, and then it won't allow you to be happy, and it won't allow you to sleep well, eating well. Even, you know, it's ruining your energy, you know.
So it doesn't
So
sound like it's in. My first thought was that this is the opposite of American values. Maybe not. American values individualism probably first and foremost. We are very individualistic. Don't tell me what to do. I'm my own person. I have freedom. I have opportunity. I have equality. So in that sense, it is focusing on yourself first. And then if you find peace and contentment within yourself, then you can share that with others and think about it. Maybe you get there by not. I guess that's where I'm struggling. Do I find my inner contentment by focusing on me and shutting out others, or do I find contentment by not thinking about me and focusing on others?
Ooh,
The,
deep.
the thinking about oneself and take caring of oneself is good, but thinking of oneself doesn't mean that to ignore the other well-being. If you want to take care of yourself, think yourself, the wisest way to take care of yourself is to take a concern for other well-being. That's the best way. The only thinking of yourself and neglecting the others beings and like that, only thinking me, I, and myself, that's the root cause of one's own unhappy mind.
Okay.
By being selfish, you mean?
To be selfish. So you're
Yeah,
saying,
selfish.
is it a balance between the two? You have to focus on yourself, but you can't exclude others. That's a hard act. I mean, I've seen people who are in denial. I'm going to give everything to others, and I'm not going to take any time for me. I'm just going to give, and then I can become exhausted and empty sometimes. Or I can be focused on me, and all I do is think about me, and I don't want to hear about other problems in other countries, other places, or down the street. I'm focused on me.
yeah, I think when we saying that practice generosity, you know, giving others material, dharma, whatever. So it doesn't mean that we should give everything to other people. It doesn't mean like that. So then also there's when we saying that practice generosity, first we earning money, you know, become like millionaire, billionaire. Then we can start
That's
to help
Dr.
other
Chen. He's a
people.
billionaire, by the way. If you didn't,
Yeah,
he's
it's
a
yeah,
billionaire.
Dr. Chen, don't wait, okay? You
Don't
can
wait.
you can practice generosity from today.
Right. You don't have to wait until you get rich. You know, that was one of
Yeah,
the
it's
That was one of the criticisms
yeah,
of Bill Gates for a number of years and other tech billionaires, is that they were so focused on building their business and so focused on getting ahead. They did not give to charity. They were not. Now they've gone the other way, and they're saying, I'm going to give it all to charity. Sort of one extreme to the other. That seems to be an American lifestyle. We're either totally focused on this, totally focused on making, or totally focused on giving.
yeah. It's you know we saying that practice generosity. It don't necessarily we become like rich. You know, we can practice our day-to-day life, even if we are middle class or poor people. We can help each other. If you notice that I saw one in a CNN news in the street, someone pretending he's a beggar and he
Right.
asking people money. Those rich people never give to him. And then there is one beggar who got a large pizza someone gave to him, and he get that, to share that his pizza to the
other
other person.
What little
So
he had, he
that's
shared with others. Yeah.
yeah, that's really inspiring us, really amazed. Even he is beggar, he has only one pizza, but he has that kind of good heart
Yeah.
to share other people. So most of people, they're just earning money themselves, and then they say they're waiting to become rich and then practice generosity, but it's too late. We can practice from today, day-to-day life. We can start it from small things.
So talk about Buddhism in America, just so I get an understanding of it. You guys are from Tibet, I take it, or from some by your accent, you're not from New York. Where were you both born?
I'm born in Tibet.
Yeah.
Both
Me, I born in Bhutan.
in Bhutan, which is a little country north of or south of
Yeah.
Tibet, right? Yeah, exactly.
South of Tibet.
Right on the Indian border. Okay.
Yes.
So you came here. What was your first impression when you came to America? A little different than Tibet or Bhutan, I would think. If nothing else, the sheer size and congestion and craziness and pace of life here. What?
I was born in Bhutan, but my parents, they are from Tibet. So later on, I came to India.
Okay. India's pretty crowded and crazy in a different way. Yeah, right.
Monastery. Yeah. In monastery.
So what do you think?
Yeah.
Looking from the outside, not to be critical, but what do you see in America when you come here? What do you see that we don't see here? We too fast, we're too crowded, we're too angry, we're too something, we're too focused on something.
We need help.
To be honest, life here in United States seems very busy.
Very busy.
Every person and people running on time.
Yes.
But when I look back in India, the life of people is more relaxed as compared to United States.
Relax and slow.
Yeah.
Slower. Yeah, slow.
Interesting.
You smile when you say slow. Is slow better? You get a chance to say. You get a chance to smell the roses and savor things. Or are we such a hurry, such a race to get wherever we're going, in the car, in our careers, whatever.
Yeah. For my experience, when I first came to USA, and of course, Ithaca, upstate New York. Mm-hmm. So this area, people more like really, most of people really educated. Mm-hmm. It's Cornell University, Ithaca College is here,
right? And
most of people are like teachers and university students. They're really, really, very good person. I think, whenever we go there, they're really open-minded and say greetings each other. So especially we are Buddhist monk, our robe is really special, So whenever
it certainly identifies you instantly. There's no doubting that you're
monk.
a Tibetan monk, right?
I want to robe.
Buddhist monk.
Dr. Trin wants to wear a robe here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So people really, friendly and open-minded, and then one thing that it's more like a culture shock. I'm Buddhist chaplain at Cornell University.
At Cornell University, you're a chaplain or the chaplain for? Are you a chaplain for all, or just a chaplain for that community within Cornell University?
Yeah, Cornell University. There's many different religious leaders there.
Okay.
Christian, Hindu. I'm from Tibetan Buddhist chaplain.
I see.
So I lead the meditation. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like 45 minutes. So then one time I, introduce those students or teachers who come to meditation. So I told them that we have to practice love and compassion. So when we introduce practice love and compassion, first we have to introduce people that equanimity, equanimity, meaning that we equalize every sentient beings. Especially in Buddhists, we believe, or we saying that every mother's sentient beings are our own mother, because our life is unlimited, and of course each our life we need mother. So that that reason we believe every sentient being is our own mother, not only this life, but previous life or some other lives.
And does that
So
apply to other life forms? I know that cows can't be killed or corralled in India. I'm not sure I completely understand why, but it's that respect for life that I've read severe thing, or maybe this is extreme, that Buddhists won't or step on a bug or whatever. They won't, if they kill a grasshopper accidentally, they feel bad or something here.
yeah, of course, that's why we in the summer, especially monks community, we call summer retreat is 3 months retreat. Monks never cutting like grasses or tree distance. So similarly, of course, there in Tibet, back in Tibet, there are special areas we never cutting those trees, and
Because you might harm some creature or bug or life form in there, right?
So I want to tell you that when I introduce equanimity, and then I tell them we must consider all sentient beings our one's mother, and then I introduce like a love compassion meditation. After we finish meditation, then student he came to me and he said that, oh, you mentioned about all sentient beings like consider one's mother, but he said that I cannot accept that. I cannot imagine that. Then I asked why. He said that, oh, my mother gave me a really, really hard time,
Yeah, right. Maybe.
Then I said that, then who, taking care of you and who you love the most? And he says his father really taking care of him and help him everything, education, everything. Then I said that why don't you consider all the sentient beings like one's father? And then he said, oh, that makes sense.
That one he can accept. But that's hard. That's like
kind of a shock,
That's like Christianity turning the other cheek. That's very hard when somebody hits you or hates you. Yeah.
Is meditation a religious experience, or is meditation can be done with or without having a specific religious faith? Or do you have to have some religious faith to meditate, or not really?
No.
I think we don't need. It's not necessarily related with the Buddhist or religion, like love, compassion, tolerance, forgiveness, like impermanent. If we practice or meditation or those kind of subject, there's no related to it particular or specific religion is there. So that love, compassion, all these things, everybody can practice or meditate, or there's no like boundary there. Believer or non-believer, everybody can practice or meditate that kind of.
So in religion, some who are not Buddhists view Buddhism like religion, but is Buddha like a god or not really God? Like you don't pray to Buddha like a Christian pray to God, right? Or what is how does that
was Buddha, in Islam, obviously Allah was sent by God, Jesus is the son of God, right? Yeah, right.
So in Buddhism, what is it? Is Buddha viewed like God, or more like someone who's just who taught you the way, or how is that viewed in Buddhism?
I think in Buddhism, as I mentioned, that Buddha is more like a great scholar,
Like a scholar.
He philosopher. He ordinary being and practice, then he become fully enlightenment. It's not like more like it's ready-made. God is, from the limitless. He is still there. It's not like that. The Buddha, because Buddha said that I cannot transfer to you my power, wisdom, love, compassion. I cannot pick like sentient beings like illness, suffering by Buddha's hand.
Yes.
And also Buddha cannot wash the blessing waters, wash the sentient beings like suffering or illness, these things. But only one thing Buddha can do is Buddha can show us how to get there, how to achieve enlightenment. He instruct us. He gave us the teaching. He show us the direction. That's fully responsible for us.
Yes.
Whether we reach there or not, that's our responsibility.
Well, and I've always read that Buddha, the great Buddha, did not himself see himself as a a divine being in any sense here. He saw himself as an ordinary person. In fact, maybe this is anecdotal or wrong, but he even said, after I die, please don't make a religion around me. I believe this is the way to enlightenment, but don't give me powers that I don't have here. I'm a regular person. Is that correct, or did he?
No.
Yeah.
So
Sinam is not there.
Like
okay.
That Buddhas, hello.
Yeah. So go ahead. We're trying to wrap our head around how you see the great Buddha. Was he an ordinary person like me that came to enlightenment, that stumbled on the path, or was he divinely inspired? But there is no divinity in Buddhism. There is no ultimate God, right?
Yeah, he's like, before he's like an ordinary person like us.
Mm-hmm.
And through his practice, he got enlightened.
So he went to a higher plane of being. He went to a place
higher
of
being, higher state of being, higher realizations.
Yeah.
He evolved into, and all of us can strive to that in his. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Enlightenment means to eliminate all the negative emotions inside yours.
Yes.
Delusions and all things.
Yes.
That's the main teaching of Buddha. How to, cope with those negative mindset.
I feel Buddhism is more like a pathway to a mindset that gets you to that experience where you're no longer, suffering, or where you're no longer desiring materialism. It's that inner self is what you get to with the practice.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yes.
So we have some questions, and I'd like to encourage, we have about 10, 15 minutes left here. If anybody has any questions, this is a rare opportunity. I've never met a Buddhist monk before. When Dr. Trin said, I know some, I'm like, wow, I got a million questions, but I don't want to dominate the whole discussion here. The audience has one question for you. Betty asks, how do you view sin? How do you handle sin? How do you view sin? How do you deal with sin? Sin being however you define people doing wrong things. Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
Killing somebody, hurting somebody, stealing from somebody, whatever,
Yeah, that's we call self-discipline, If you have self-discipline, then even you have opportunity to stealing like money or material things, you wouldn't do that. You don't need to like government those restrictions. It doesn't matter whether government.
I get if you're a follower, this is the path, but people are human. People err. People get angry. People kill. People hurt. People steal. People lie. All the things that every religion views as, we call it sin, but something wrong. And does that then affect your next life? If I continually live a bad life, I rob, I steal, I hurt people.
Yeah,
does that affect me here or the next life? How does that? If I don't break out of that practice and I sin, then what consequence does sin have? I'll say sin, bad behavior.
We don't have to talk. Yeah, we don't have to talk about the next life. If you do those things, just think of your present life, how it affects that.
Yeah.
If you do the stealing, if you hurt some other people, what will be consequences? We know that.
Right.
It hurt yourself after that moment. So that's what the Buddhist teaching is says.
The present.
If you do good things, the result will be good. If you do bad
so
things,
how would you
the
counsel
result will be bad.
if you were a Buddhist not minister? What were you saying? The way you described yourself at Cornell here, you're chaplain. If you were a Buddhist chaplain at a prison, I'm assuming there are Buddhist chaplains at prisons. What would you tell these people who've done horrible things? They've been locked up. They're being punished. They're being kept away from us. You're clearly trying to get them to change their behavior, but how do you get them to see the light? Is it just look around you and see the consequence,
Yeah, I think when someone did something wrong things, so we think wider perspective. It's not when we see someone murder, in school or our community or area. So from the beginning, we so angry to that person,
right?
So much angry that person. We wanted to kill that person.
Right.
Mhm.
So if you think wider perspective, then listen to their own, difficulties, then you will realize why those people doing these things. Then that means we can make more capacity to make more room for compassion towards those people.
And does that compassion ever end? If I'm talking about Charles Manson or Adolf Hitler or mass murderers here, at some point do I say, I'm done trying to understand you? This punishment, justice, eye for an eye.
Because those kind of people, of course, that did really wrong thing, destroy humanity, people's peace of mind. But if we think a wider perspective, if we involve like anger, if we go under control, angry or hatred, these things, then eventually we are become same as that bad person.
It consumes you, right?
Yeah. So that if we don't do that, then we are same as that mother. We are not special, nothing special, no differences.
Well, that's certainly a practice in Christianity. Turn the other cheek, love your enemy. And that's very, very hard to do for most of us, I think, to see them as our mother or father, or somebody that's that bad.
It's very hard, but if we do this, it's really, a good thing.
So Dan Daly asks, how do the students at Cornell accept or react to the beliefs of Buddhism? And I suspect what he's getting at is I think that there's a greater openness and acceptance to Buddhism among college students and young people today than I've ever seen, looking for some other path other than traditional paths that they've been taught. Is that true, or am I just reading something into today's culture where they're looking, seeking?
Yeah, I think those students and teachers, most of those who come to the meditation, they are teachers,
Mm-hmm.
The teachers, I think those teachers have more flexibility time, So whoever come to meditation, they says just their present meditation, they really feel relaxed and calm, I think that's the one thing. And then when we introduce, we are not just introduce like Buddhism, we just introduce more like our basic human values, like love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance. How to we deal with anger or hatred or these things. So I think it really helps, So
that's great.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is in Western religions, in Catholicism certainly, in Christianity in general, in Islam, all of these are out to convert, to find new followers. I will show you why I believe, and then I'm going to encourage you to join us, to become one of us, to follow the book, to follow the faith. Does Buddhism try and convert people in that same way? Are you out proselytizing? Are you
No,
out trying
as
to?
as I mentioned that I think Buddhists are really, really open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
We are never, motivation to convert anyone to in the Buddhism. Even His Holiness Dalai Lama, he often addressed those his audiences, especially Western audiences who come to receive his teaching, and then he encouraged those audiences. You should stick with your, your religion, your own religion. Of course, you can study Buddhist or Christian, Muslim, whatever, but it's better if you stick with your own religion. So if someone really, really wanted to be Buddhist or Christian, first you have to should think carefully and study. And finally, it's totally up to you to choose. Whatever you choose is it's your right. So
Is there, and here's two more questions about just comparing. I think I know the answers to this already, or at least I know one of the answers. We are all people of the book, the Bible. There are three different religions that all take that Bible as divinely inspired. Judaism, where it came from, Christianity that broke off from it when we believed that Christ came into the world as the Savior, and then Islam that said, well, Christ was a special person, but he wasn't the messenger of God that Muhammad was. But all three groups have a book to follow. Is there a book to follow in Buddhism? Is there a text to teach me?
Of course, Buddha he taught 84,000 verses of mind training. So
84,000 verses of mind training.
84,000 verses, yeah, Buddha teaching.
Okay.
The book's right here. I'm writing it right now.
Are you creating the book?
Right?
Right?
I'm writing the book, the Buddhist book.
The book of.
Yeah, it's not just it's like kind of order. It's really philosophy. So which is everybody can study and practice.
Sharon suggests there is something called the Book of Joy, and which has interviews with the Dalai Lama and others, like the Bishop Desmond Tutu from South Africa.
So the Dalai Lama says that you should stick to the religion you have right now. He's not like in the business of converting people to Buddhism. He's just saying whatever you believe, stick to it. And here are the concepts or the values of Buddhism, of compassion and love and forgiveness. Is that the way we should view it? Because I don't see Buddhists like I don't know, what do we call it?
Proselytizing, trying to convert.
I don't see Buddhist proselytizing. I don't see like Buddhist missionaries going out there to convert people to Buddhism. We have Christian missionaries. We have, if you were a Muslim, there are countries where
they did it violently in the early days. Yeah, at the point of a sword and stuff.
In the old days, they violently kill each other to convert people, right? Even the Christians. The Christians have the what do you call that?
The Crusades, where we were out to
Crusades, right? The Crusades.
The Inquisition, where we burned people to stake if they didn't believe. Yeah.
Yeah, the Muslims who killed, but I don't see like Buddhist warrior monks.
No, I think
you didn't ever watch Kung Fu. He was a warrior monk here.
I mean, Sonam looks like a warrior monk. But I don't see a lot of Buddhist warrior monks out there, right?
No, whether you see Christianity, Muslim, or other religions.
Now,
most of them, major religions, the basic message is love and compassion. So, for like one religion can't serve for whole humanity. That's impossible. Some person prefer Christianity, some person prefer Muslim, some for the. It's something like what you call the food. if you want to survive your physical, we need the food to eat. So if inner mental health, you need also hygiene, we need food. That religion is something like that. So we have to respect all the religions, because the most of the universal message is the same. Is love and compassion.
Now, having said that, I'm going to be a little controversial. I hope I don't offend you, but there have been instances where Buddhist monks have been very, very politically active, have been very confrontational with governments. And I think about Vietnam, the famous images of the Buddhists immolating themselves, setting themselves on fire to make a point. That sounds like is that a different outlook of Buddhism, or does that fit into, love, compassion, care for others, and so I'm going to sacrifice myself to make a statement?
I think that's a little bit different. This, even today, there are in Tibet, more than 140 or 50 Tibetan people, they're self-immolated.
Right.
Also, there are few monks and especially some lamas there. So they knows very well about the Buddhist concept, all these things, but they did self-immolated, because they did that not just for himself, just for his well-being, not just for his family's well-being, because he's dedicate 6 million Tibetan people, automatically bring peace and freedom in Tibet.
Right.
So he did that something for other people's well-being, not for himself. So that is the big differences.
So there can be a more, maybe militant isn't the right word, but maybe it is. A more aggressive form of Buddhism, where it's we're going to take an active role in politics to free Tibet, to free Vietnam, to do something. We're going to take a stance against the government and what we see is wrong.
So do you feel, so Tenzin and Sonam, is Buddhism a religion or is Buddhism a philosophy?
Right. Or is it both?
Which one do you?
Yeah, that's why His Holiness Dalai Lama, he clearly made 3 categories, Buddhist science, Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist religion. So all those love, compassion, all those impermanent, emptiness, these things, Buddhist philosophy. Buddhist religion means that we believe Buddha, taking refuge, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha.
Yeah.
We talk about the previous life, next life, and karma. These things are the Buddhist religion, So
karma being that you pay for the sins, basically. I'll use sin again.
Oh, yes.
That you pay for what you cause, the suffering you cause in this life, you pay for it in the next life.
Karma's a
payback.
Payback.
So you're saying, so I can buy into any or all of these. I can go full in and start with the philosophy and the science, and
still be a Christian.
Or I could reject Christianity and accept the idea of past lives and view it as a religion too. I could view it as, I can sort of pick and choose. I can do all of it or some of it.
Even you practice Buddhism, you don't need to reject Christianity, because one of our former student, she's a priest. She teach in a church maybe more than 30 years, but she come to monastery, study 15 years. So she said that when she share like a Buddhist philosophy or Buddhist ideas, especially basic those trainings, love, compassion, these things, it's really a benefit for those people who come to church. So
those are not in conflict with Christianity, or I would dare say Islam or anything. Everybody wants to teach love and compassion and respect. I mean, that's the foundation of all religion. I don't think there's a religion now that's built on hate.
Even for the non-believer too.
For the non-believers, yes, exactly, right there. These are things we're all searching for. Well,
Yeah,
I wish we
because,
could go on forever. We're coming to the end of our time here.
Mm.
One quick question: how many monks and how many Buddhists are there in America? I still see it as a rarity here in America. I don't run into many monks or many Buddhists here in America, although I live in Rancho Santa Margarita, and there is a Buddhist, what would you call it, a temple? A Buddhist, not a church, but a Buddhist
Pagoda.
a pagoda.
Pagoda,
Good.
temple.
There's a Buddhist
Yeah,
temple in our neighborhood.
I'm not so sure how many Buddhists in the United States. I'm not so sure. I don't know.
It's still seen as something outside the Western tradition. But what strikes me, has always struck me, is in my lifetime, where it went from rare and exotic and maybe even a little, I don't know if I believe this or can accept this. Now we have all these different, we've accepted so much of Eastern philosophy, from simple things like acupuncture to this belief in sort of karma, payback, however that manifests. I hear people say, that's karma. You're just getting paid back for what you did. And that kind of belief system of looking at life in a holistic sense. Your health, your life, everything is interconnected. It's not just, I can go to church and then I can go out, the mafia, I can go to church and then I can go rob people, where we can separate the two. You know, here I'm faithful, there I'm faithless. I think that's what I find appealing about all Eastern philosophies, whether it's medicine or meditation. It's a overall philosophy that integrates everything in your life, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, what message would you leave us? Is there a prayer? Is there a meditation? Is there a little tidbit you can share with us? You know, do you pray over people? Do you, is there a meditation, or is there a verse? Is there a saying? Leave us with something here.
So I have a really short message to viewers and people who listen to our conversation. So I hope every mother sentient beings be happy and get rid of suffering or disaster, especially this pandemic, you know.
Yes.
So the men, during this difficulty time, we have to be present. We have to be, you know, alive, and we must more associated with the natural, like waters and trees and in external environment. At the same time, we should, you know, practice inner environment. We have to be calm and kind. And if you really be calm and confident yourself, of course, we can get rid of this pandemic. So hope and pray every mother sentient beings be happy and peaceful mind. Yeah, thank you.
As we say, amen.
Amen.
Amen. The end. Well, thank you. Take us out, Dr. Trin, for any final thoughts. I know your mother is a Buddhist nun. I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
Hope someday we'll have her on here. But you yourself are not. Do you follow Buddhism and practice it in any way, shape, or form? I think you go to a Christian church somewhere, right?
I grew up in a Buddhist family. I went to the Buddhist monastery as a young child. I grew up Buddhist. I do believe in a personal, you know, creator, God, right? Jesus. But all the tenets and all the, you know, all the values of Buddhism is just humanity, right? It's not necessarily specific to a specific religion, and we all share that. Those values of compassion, love, forgiveness, right?
Inner calm, inner peace, connected with the world. Be in the moment, be present. All these things he's talking about here. Don't zone out, don't drop out. You know, be in the moment for yourself. Be aware of who you are and be aware of everything around you, from the birds and the trees to the people. That is such power in that statement alone. Be present, show up.
Yes. One day I want to maybe learn some Shaolin, you know, kung fu techniques.
Well, yeah, those are the warrior monks. I want to be a warrior monk here. I'm an American. I want to kick some butt here somewhere here. So yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Very,
so much.
very great privilege to meet
Thank
you, sir. And you know, Godspeed on your journey. And and keep spreading the love and peace and the message. We need it wherever it comes from here.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. That's why we tune in each and every Thursday to find a way, a path to happiness and health here on Health Talks with Dr. Trin, right on Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio.net.